friends, I'm Annie Botticelli. Welcome to my December 2019 horoscope report for you. When the planets move through Sagittarius, they make beautiful angles with your Leo placements. So November this started, December this continues, and you will find that you have a lot of vitality, a lot of creative energy, and a lot of drive for travel and writing and making things and just, overall zest. Whenever any planets move through the fellow fire signs, it gives you boosts in every area of your life. So we have that going on, which is very exciting. And we also have planets moving into and through Capricorn, which in many ways is quite helpful because even though, yes, it is a very sweet time when you have planets moving through something with so much harmony for you, but it can also be very overstimulating. It can be, so explosive and so expansive that you could need a little help finding and keeping your footing. And Capricorn placements are coming in just in time to help with that. So what that can do is to give form to the ideas. It can give manifestation to the inspiration. And so this month is ideal because of all of those combining factors, plus certain things about this month that make this a major, major, major month, including the eclipses. Okay, so I've been talking about these for a while. We've got the first eclipse this month. We also have a couple of other things to know about this month. I'm going to give you a lot of great detail about what areas of life are being accentuated for Leo and how you can best use those energy, what kind of lessons and opportunities will come in from these arenas of life being accentuated for your sign. Before that, though, it's really important to know the 3 top things about December so that you can frame the Leo-specific information that I give you and use it better. And I will refer back to some of the things that are important about December as I'm, speaking about these Leo-specific things. So let's check out the top 3 things for December now very quickly, and then I'll get the charts on for Leo and we can have a party. Okay, so I'm going to give you this quick overview of the general energy of December 2019. And it's really critical to understand this before we start putting in the pieces for your sign, because it will flavor the whole month, and everything that we talk about that's specific for you is going to have these 3 big pieces that are just overlaying everything. Okay, so there are 3 main things to know about December 2019. The first is that we have way more sweet aspects than salty ones. This happened also in November. It definitely flavors the month when there are more sweet aspects than challenging ones. Your individual chart could vary because you could have a challenging time going on in your chart, and then the general horoscopes could be like super sweet, and you could be like, well, the horoscopes are wrong, and they're not. The general horoscopes, your personal charts, are all individual pieces of a very complex total picture. But just talking about the general transits, there's definitely more sweetness this month than there is salty stuff going on. And I will give you the dates for those sweet and salty aspects. Big thing to know about this month, time to get it done. December 9th is when the post-Mercury retrograde transit, Mercury went direct on November 20th, but every day after November 20th until December 9th was this kind of Mercury waking up, changing directions. I kind of see this as like making a U-turn. If you're going one direction, you have to slow down, come to a stop, make the turn, go speed up again. Okay, so this period of time between November 20th and December 9th is like coming back up to speed. All right, but from December 9th through February 2nd is the last major open window of all of 2020. 2020 is a year that is entrenched with inward and backward energy from personal planet retrogrades. Mercury, Venus, Mars, all going to be going retrograde. Mercury will be going retrograde 3 times as usual. And this is just going to be a very internal, with themes from the past type of year. So your time to like push things out in a big way is December and January. And you've got awesome aspects this month to do it. There's a massive Capricorn influence, which is also helpful here because there are just so many planets in Capricorn, outer planets, the ones furthest from us, inner planets, the ones closest to us. So it's a time to strategize, get things done, get organized, make plans, just like really take the bull by the horns and to do things. There's also the Sagittarius influence, which is going to make a dizzying, busy, all over the place, spiral, spinning out, exuberant type of energy, which is really nice as a counterbalance to this very serious, Capricorn energy. So we do have those Sag influences, and those are going to be coming in a big way, bringing some lightheartedness and optimism and fun to this otherwise very, focused time. The third thing to know is that the eclipse energies are really, really happening now. Okay, I've been talking about these for months before they actually happened, because they can actually show up as major manifestations in months before they happen. But this month we have the December eclipse, which is December 25th or 26th, depending on your time zone. But the whole month, and before December even and after December, major changes. So to see how this is going to affect your sign, very specifically with great detail, watch my November report for your sign. Okay, because in there I talk about all of the details of exactly where you are on the spectrum for your sign, and how that will manifest for you. I did a whole separate video series, a whole 12-set separate video series for the January eclipses. So look for that, look for your sign, lunar eclipse 2020, Annie Botticelli, and you will find these very detailed storylines of how you are very likely going to experience those eclipses, what areas of life are going to be highlighted for you. Okay, now the last thing I want to do here before we get into more specifics with your sign has to do with the sweet and salty dates. Okay, so the sweet aspects, 2nd, 3rd, 8th, 10th, 13th, 10th, 11th, 13th, 15th, 19th, 21st, 22nd, 24th, 26th, and 27th. And I've got them written down here. Okay, the salty ones, 8th, 11th, 13th, 19th, 22nd, 23rd, and 26th. You'll notice some of these are in common. So there are many days this month that there are sweet and salty aspects on the same days. Okay, so you can either try to align your things with the days that don't have those same things going on, or you can just feel your way through. An aspect happens on a certain day, but our timeline for how we can experience it can be days before or days after. So you just have to kind of feel your way through. If you're like planning a big launch and you're having a crappy day and it's just things aren't flowing, maybe wait until everything feels like, okay, 1, 2, 3, now sync up. It's really important for you to learn to feel these rhythms for yourself. I teach you this and give you guidelines, but you're feeling your way through is my main goal. Okay, so those are the aspects to note. Now let's look at these juicy details about how your sign-specific energies are going to show up. Okay, so now that you know all the sweet dates, all the salty dates, the energies to watch out for, and you understand the different layers of why this month is so important, especially over the scheme of the next 13 or so months, now we can look at some Leo-specific things. And I will talk about a lot of things that are true for all placements, but I am an astrology teacher and I like to go into even more detail about where you are in the Leo spectrum and how there are some differences in the report based on those differences. All right, so you're an early Leo. Basically, if you're a July born or your placement is between 0 and 9 degrees, my reports are equally as valid for Sun Leos as they are for Moon in Leo and Leo rising. The Leo Moon, the Leo Sun, the Leo rising, these are all spoken to with this video because the Moon chart, the Sun chart, and the Rising chart are all windows we look out of to show us a more clear picture about the multiple layers of things that are happening at once. We live in a very complex reality, and one chart is great, but when you look at it from the perspective of multiple charts, it's like you're having a view expanded through multiple windows of your experience. So the middle degree is basically August 1st through 10th or 10 to 19, and late is around August 11th through the rest of the sign, or 20 to 29 degrees. You can always refer back to that chart if you have any question about where you fall. If you have a discrepancy where you're in a certain number zone but you're not in a date zone, always go with the degrees. The degrees will be the most accurate. The number range will get you close enough if you don't know your degree. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to look at this chart. It happens to be an early chart, but that doesn't matter because the things I'm going to talk about are going to be true for all of you unless I otherwise differentiate out, okay? The first thing I wanted to talk about is how Sag planets, Mercury will be there soon, Mars will get there, make these beautiful kissy, smoochy faces with Leo, because that's the 120-degree angle. It's the most harmonious in all of astrology. It brings blessings from work that you do, and it brings brings blessings for nothing. Okay, so this beautiful trine, you could just be like sitting down and someone can hand you some money or bring something to you without you having to do anything. That's why we love it so much. That's why I'm always looking for the trines. And this time of year when the planets are moving through Sagittarius, you have a ton of them. So that is ongoing. That energy really started cooking in November. And to some degree, it's been going on for the whole last year because as Jupiter has moved through Sag, it's ending now in December. But as Jupiter spent this year from the end of 2018 to the end of 2019, along the way, it's kissed your Leo placement. So you have like a short condensed version of what Jupiter did over the course of the year. So the next thing to note is that we do have a little bit more energy in Scorpio, kind of lingering, that will pass through quickly. It's not a dominating theme here, but it has been a dominating theme. So coming into December, you've had like more Scorpio energy than you want, I'm sure, because Scorpio is in a challenging angle. It's 1, 2, well here, it's hard to see this here. So from Scorpio to Libra is 1, Libra to Virgo, and then Virgo to Leo. That's 3 signs away. Each sign is 30 degrees. Okay, so the full circle, a circle is measured with 360 degrees, right? So if you have all these zodiac signs along a circle, then it's they're 30 degrees in each sign. So 3 signs away means 90-degree aspects. So Scorpios make 90-degree aspects. Scorpio energy makes 90-degree aspect with Leo. Very stressful, very pressure-filled. And you know, because I'm an optimist, I like to focus on what's good about that besides it just being a pain. What's good about it is that sometimes you need pressure and aggravation to step into your highest expression. And there are sometimes, you know, even though Leo is very vibrant and, you know, has a lot of energy in general for things, it's also a fixed sign. Okay, so you have to remember about being a fixed sign. Sometimes you can get a little bit stuck in certain things that aren't working for you. And you just keep doing it and bringing life to it. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try it. And that's very admirable. And sometimes it actually works out really well. But you know that there are things in your life that you keep doing them and you're fixed on it, you're doing it and you're doing it and it's just not working out. And when these Scorpio planets come, they can aggravate you sufficiently to say, why am I knocking my head against a wall continuing to do this? I am going to stop doing this and make the decision to crack out of it. Then you have all this Sag support saying, why don't you do it this way? This way is more harmonious. So there's going to be a lot of that theme. So even though that's continuing, it's not anywhere near as intense as it has been for the previous months as we had this Scorpio festival and Mercury retrograde in Scorpio just kind of rubbing everything raw with that angle for you. Then as the planets move through Capricorn, we have another interesting dynamic with Leo. Okay, so just back to our math here. So this is 1, 2, 3. The Scorpio is 90-degree angle. We talked about what that looks like. Sag is 120-degree angle. We talked about what that is like. Then you get to Capricorn, and that's 150-degree angle. And that is awkward. All right, so even the name of it, quincunx, the name of the angle is awkward. You probably heard me say it's one of my least favorite words ever. It's as uncomfortable and awkward as the angle is. So fortunately, you have a lot of beautiful Sag energy that can help to counterbalance these other nuisances. And also, again, looking at it from an optimistic standpoint, even though Capricorn energy doesn't blend super well from a comfort level with Leo, and you'll feel that, you'll feel that in December. You've been feeling it with these outer planets moving through forever. You'll feel it in January as there's still more Capricorn energy, but it does create the impetus to do something. And that is what we want. We want December and January to be your big doing things, because as that retrograde flow starts in February and lasts all the way for the rest of the year, pretty much. And please don't get me wrong, I love retrogrades and I will be very well educating you on how to best use those energies. as we're going through them. But one of the best things to know beforehand, like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, is that if you've got things that you've been supposed to be doing, like, oh, I got to get this book out. Oh, I have to get this project out. Oh, I have to do this launch. Oh, I'm being lazy or whatever. This type of energy with these 150-degree angles and these 90-degree angles are saying, I have to do something now. And December and January are the time to do it because you have an open window free from the personal planet retrogrades, which is amazing for action. You have 2 eclipses that even if you don't do something, change may come to you. So change is coming, basically. Definitely watch my reports. I have my November report talks about this December eclipse. Okay, so you want to watch that. Then I have a separate January eclipse series for each sign. So you'll want to watch that because that's going to give you all of these pieces. And this, the eclipse is in the Capricorn Cancer cycle. So that's going to help you. But what to know about this time as the personal planets move through there is just these things that I told you. Okay, so just to be ready for that. All right, so now the last thing I want to talk about has to do with the arenas of life that are being accentuated for Leos at this time. And this is going to be a little bit staggered. We've got a couple of houses here. Let's see, 4th, 5th. Yeah. Okay, so the 4th house, this is an early chart, and the 5th house and the 6th house are all being accentuated for, okay, we'll talk about what this means. Houses are fields of experience that we have as humans. When the personal planets, which take shorter amount to go around, so those are the kind of things that we look at in monthly horoscopes in general, because those are the things that change more quickly. When you're looking at like these stodgy bad boys over here, they're like, they take a long time to go through a sign. So when we look at them month to month, they're still there. They're in the same sign. They're usually in the same house. They're not changing that much. And there are important things to know about that, and I do often talk about those. But the things that change are the personal planets, the ones closest to us, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars. So following those in the chart, we can see what areas of life are brought into the forefront in the short term. Okay, so for the early, we see 4th, 5th, and 6th there. I'm just going to show you this really quick, and then I'll tell you what lessons and opportunities come from those placements, okay? So you can see the 4th and the 5th, and actually for middle, this is the middle degree chart now. You can't tell from here really, but this Venus will be working in the 5th house, but you'll also see it start accentuating this 6th house in December, you middle friends. Okay, so you guys actually have all of this. So you've got the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th house accentuated. And then late degree friends, everything is always staggered more for y'all. So you still have 3rd house energy. Okay. And then you have the 4th house. The Sun is there. Mercury will be there. Venus is moving through that 5th house, but you're not going to see that 6th house come in until the very end of December or well into January. Okay, so you can pay attention at those parts, but just know that that's going to be staggered for you from the perspective of the horoscope chart. All right, so now what does all of this mean? And why? What goes on here? Burning questions, right? All right, so let's first just talk about some things that are true for everybody. So early, middle, and late degree placements have your 4th house accentuated. 4th house brings up emotion, okay? We were talking about the energies of how Scorpio blended with you. Scorpio, in general doesn't blend all that well. It's kind of similar with Cancer. Cancer energy is emotional. Leo is all about action and, creative passions, and the Cancer energies bring this emotion in, which can be a little bit of a damper to your fire. But at the same time, it can bring cozy, wonderful holiday, family opportunities, things about housing and real estate and homes. If you have to sell a house or you want to buy a house, this is an amazing month for that for you. Besides having the open window, also the 4th house represents home. So this is perfect. If you have to do any home jobs or like an extension or a remodel or draw up plans for a new build, or if you want to start working from home and launch a business that's home-based, or if you're in an arena where your work is based on homes, this is going to be accentuated for you. Now, there are a couple of, stressful aspects this month, and the emphasis on home could bring some drama. But in general, the energies are much more light and supportive and harmonious, and lend themselves to having an increase in chance of not cloudy weather. Okay, astrology is like meteorology in the way that we can project energetic potentials based on certain, like, for meteorology, it's like atmospheric and other conditions. So they base probabilities based on the combination of those energies. And astrology is the same way. There are certain energetic forces that play with certain angles, mathematical representation, your relationships to each other, and that increases the odds of something. But it's way too complex to know exactly what's going to happen for each individual, because there are so many things that are a part of how someone experiences something. Your viewpoint on life, your state of your health at that moment, your mental state at that moment, your personal chart, which we can't see all the factors. So, like this month could be lighting up beautifully in general, in the general horoscope, but you could have a crap storm of ultimate proportions going on in your chart, and you'll be like, where's my sweet stuff, right? But we can't see all that. So it's the same thing here. So there is an increase in odds of sweet, harmonious, beautiful family things. But since it rules this energy of emotion, they could be emotional or dramatic as well. So basically, home and family. This is an amazing time to find a lost relative or to be found by a relative, and to do ancestry for fun, or for genetics for medical or other purposes. And it's a fantastic time to focus on your inner world. So deep inner healing, where you are healing generationally. And I really do believe we can heal generationally. If you do work personally, you can set an energetic imprint and set energies and motions forwards and backwards to your parents, whether they're around still or not, and to your kids, whether they're around yet or not. So the changes that we make as an individual actually does change the DNA. And this is something that they're finding more and more, that certain things that they believed that just were static are actually in motion, just like everything else in the universe is in motion. All of these things that they think were unchangeable are actually changeable. So anything having to do with genetics, changing your genes, increasing your telomere length, which is going to be more and more of a hot topic as time goes on. Okay, so the 5th house is also accentuated for early, middle, and late degree Leo placements. And the 5th house is your house. It's the Leo house. So anything involving children. So to understand what this house encompasses, it's like the idea of something. So you can call it like an idea of a creative project or something that you want to do that brings you passion, that brings you excitement. And whether that's a conception of a child, like that whole, excitement and creation, or whether it's the conception of an idea that is your creative baby, then the fostering and the creating of, building of the child or creative baby, and then the birth of the project or the baby, and then the rearing of the project or the baby, all of those are Leo-based things. So anything in there literally relating to children or figuratively relating to babies or projects that you have are all fair game to be very much accentuated this month. And also, since the Sag placements are, making these nice angles, it really makes everything burn bright and bring a lot of energy there. I also call this the bucket list house. So this is an amazing time to go somewhere or do something that you've always wanted to do. So, you can plan now, since I do these early, and of course, depending on when you're listening to this, Mercury retrograde factors might be at play. But, just start really thinking about trying to knock some things off that list of things you always really wanted to do, or maybe just even writing that list. Okay, so fun. Hidden talents. This 5th house can often bring out hidden talents, or it can accentuate talents you already have, or it can cause you to be motivated to bring your talents out to more people. So if you're trying to, again, like have a big launch or bring your gifts out or show up in front of people and do what you do, this is amazing energy for that. Okay, so we'll talk about this 6th house energy, and know that you friends toward the end there, just a reminder of what what we're doing here. Okay, so just a reminder, when we're talking about this 6th house, it's early, so July born and like first 10 days of August, or 0 to 19 degrees. You late friends, so August 11th through the rest of the sign, or 20 to 29 degrees, is you're going to experience this too, but it's going to be staggered for you. Okay, so the things we're about to describe may not be as current yet, but it's coming for you. And that's 6th house. 6th house has to do with getting organized. You've got this coming from a lot of places in the chart. You have this coming from all of the energies in Capricorn, and you have this coming from this energy in the 6th house, and you can have this coming from the excess of the Sag energies, you know, kind of just like getting you overstimulated to kind of say, ah, gosh, maybe it's time to rein it in, right? Jupiter and Capricorn in general, which I'm going to do a whole separate series on Jupiter and Capricorn, but for each sign. But this energy of the 6th house will drive you to kind of like say, okay, the party's over. Maybe I spent a little too much, got to knuckle down, get on a budget. Maybe I overate, maybe, you know, like kind of just starting to rein in these excessive party, Sag party energies and these excessive kind of lax trine energies. Trines are amazing and benevolent, but they also can bring excess. And, you know, you can say, well, too much of a good thing isn't bad, right? But it can become bad. So like this is a time where you might teeter-totter on that line of like doing something to a certain degree where it's like, oh, okay, now it's becoming not good anymore. And these are the energies that are coming in, and they get stronger towards the end of the month and into January, where you're like, okay, rein it in. This is also, okay, so rein it in is a theme here. Another theme has to do with get it checked out. Okay, so this can have to do with medical things. This is a medical house. Diagnostics, labs, all of that are you know, helpful to do when the retrogrades aren't happening, because you can often get a more clear result and have more clarity about an action to take to move forward with something. It will help you make a plan. Okay, so rein it in, get it checked out, make a plan. And that, again, all the Cap energies are telling you this, and all the 6th house energy is telling you this. So really, essentially, all Leo placements are feeling this. It's just going to get extra as the 6th house gets accentuated. Things having to do with pets also can be involved here. So pet might need more attention, you might need more discipline, you might get your animal training. And if you do get your animal training, you might say, gosh, why didn't I do that sooner? This is that kind of time. Okay, so middle and late degree people, so again, just basically August born or 10 to 29 degrees. You also have the 3rd house still accentuated. Now, early friends, you're not left out of this either. It's just will have happened for you already. So really in November. And if you're watching this in November, then this is still current for you, okay? But it will have really kind of moved along by the time the December time frame comes. So the 3rd house wants you to fine-tune communication. Oh, whoops. Fine-tune communication. So it makes you ask the questions. Are you effective with your speech? Are you effective with your communication? How can you be more effective? Do you need to speak up about something? Generally, Leos don't have problems speaking up about something, but you know, we are all complex, and there could be different things that are causing you to hold back in a certain area of your life where you are very expressive and known to be expressive, but in certain areas you're biting your tongue about something, and maybe you need to let it out. Okay, on the other polarity, you might need to zip it. So the polarity of let it out and zip it is really going to come up again through multiple placements here. So really just establishing that discernment, okay, communication discernment. That's a big key here. When to say what to whom. Big piece. 3rd house also has to do with the devices we use for communication and the devices we use for transportation. So this happens to be an amazing month to make those purchases. So if you have to buy a new phone or computer or car or something like that, boat or plane or whatever people buy that have to do with transportation and communication, this is a fantastic time to do it. And even though the Mercury post-shadow transit doesn't end until around December 9th, really all of December is fair game to start looking into all of this, because there are some really nice aspects prior to December 9th, and the energy is starting to be pretty clear. Just kind of feel your way through it. But there might be some year-end sales or holiday financing and things like that. This would be a good time to take advantage of that. Just make sure you don't completely overstep out of your budget, because as the retrogrades roll in, starting around February 2020, things that are done prior may come into question. So you just kind of want to make a calculated risk. Take calculated risks. That's the word I was looking for. And really, with all this Capricorn energy combined with the Sag, which combines with the Leo, the energy of calculated risk is really coming up in my mind as a big piece here. Okay. Making sure that was all I wanted to talk about. Okay, so those are the things I most have on my mind for Leos. In general, I'm just really, really excited about this month. And it's just a perfect balance of inspiration with grounding, which is really necessary to make the positive changes. The pressure will be there, but the resources will also likely be there as well. And big change is coming for most people, whether they're ready or not. So it could be a perfect time to break out of something that you've been stuck in. So in that way, it can be very liberating. So definitely go to my website, AnnieHelpsYou.com, so that you can sign up for my free email newsletter. And when you do, you will get, remember those dates I gave you, the sweet ones and the salty ones? Well, I give a write-up for my email list, special for them, every month, a month early, all the sweet dates, all the salty dates, what aspects they are, what planets are involved, what signs are involved, and what you can expect from those combinations, plus a little general overview written of the month. You get that delivered to your inbox every month, a month early, when you go to AnnieHelpsYou.com and sign up for my free email newsletter. It will look like this. And you will also get my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free when you sign up there, plus other free goodies. If you love how I teach and you want to learn, I'm an astrology teacher. That is my main focus. You at AnnieHelpsYou.com. Besides seeing a massive amount of astrology and other blogs on that site, you can see my astrology apprenticeship program. And if you want to learn how to be an astrologer and make money doing that, I can teach you how to do that. I have people often coming out of my course, even before the course is done, already earning money as an astrologer. So massively comprehensive. If you think my videos are detailed, you should see my astrology apprenticeship program. So you can see that at AnnieHelpsYou.com. And for written horoscopes by me, a month early, and lifestyle blogs, including an astrology for wellness blog that is massively, again, comprehensive, go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. And these links that I'm giving you are all in the notes underneath the video. So if you click on more, then it will be there and you can just link straight through. cozybysweetstarlight.com. It's such a beautiful site. Just go there even just to see how pretty it is. And the last thing, get my book, Radical Prayer, Transform Your Life and the World in 28 Days, with amazing, powerful, radical prayers, mantras, affirmations that will help you claim the life of your dreams. You can get that on Amazon. You can search for Radical Prayer Annie and you'll find it, or you can go to radicalprayerbook.com. It's an amazing handbook for my fellow spiritual seekers. My husband, B.R. Newman, also has all kinds of goodies, offerings, new things all the time at his website, IamHelios.com, IamHelios.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye!